Dreams. We all have them.
There are no Winston Cup drivers from Vegas.
No, hopefully we make it.
Those beautiful things that scare us and excite us and drive us forward.
Rookie Kurt Busch wins.
Sometimes dreams change over time, and sometimes they take a lifetime to achieve. But me, I only ever had one dream, and I chased mine with 100% of who I am. Every single day. Racing at NASCAR's highest level was always my dream. Just ask the blue-collar kid from Las Vegas who only ever wanted a shot. I've spent 23 years living my dream, and it's been a hell of a ride for that kid from Nevada. There were crashes, big emotions, and big wins over time, and chapters full of blessings that I will never take for granted. To the people who are woven into the moments of my dream, thank you for riding with me. My friends, crew members, my sponsors, and most of all, my family. Racing requires 100% of focus, heart, stamina, and determination, and I've never raced a day without all of that in mind. But sometimes Father Time can catch up to your dreams. My incredible team of doctors and I have come to the conclusion that at this point in my recovery, there are just too many obstacles for me to overcome and get back to 100%. So, after 23 years behind the wheel and 45 years of living and breathing this dream, I'm officially announcing my retirement from NASCAR Cup Series competition. To the fans, to my sponsors, to my family, and to the million moments that made my dream come true, thank you. And may we all remember, dreams really can come true.
Final restart and passing your brother for the win. Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
What an incredible intro video by Kurt Busch, which was originally posted on his Twitter. And this was an announcement I was hoping he or we wouldn't be talking about for several years. But here we are, as he is retiring. And Busch, who became that first champion of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, which was then known as the Chase, announced that he was retiring just before the Cup Series race at Daytona International Speedway back in August from full-time competition. The announcement ends a career that lasted more than 2 decades. Busch last raced at Pocono Raceway on July 23, 2022, and hasn't raced since then due to him suffering a concussion. He previously announced that he was stepping away from full-time racing in 2023 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway last fall. That announcement wasn't a retirement announcement like this one. This announcement was made at a full media center at Daytona with other drivers, media officials, and his brother Kyle also. Here's Kurt's retirement announcement and more at a press conference.
So I'm officially announcing my retirement from NASCAR Cup Series competition. Over the last several months, being out of the car, I've appreciated the opportunity to remain actively involved with 2311, Monster Energy, and the Toyota Racing family. And as I can do all that I can and I want to do all I can to continue making this race team one of the best in motorsports. I guess it's fitting that at age 45, my 23 years as a full-time driver in NASCAR would culminate in working with 2311 to impart the knowledge I have for our drivers and our team. And as I transition out of the driver's seat, I can't help but feel incredibly blessed to have spent the amount of time I did as a driver in NASCAR. And I could never have imagined it growing up as a blue-collar kid from Las Vegas. So many people have been part of my journey. I want to thank the fans, my family, friends, sponsors, and team members. Thanks to everyone who has taught me the different things around the motorsports world, and also for those who have had to put up with me. I want to just thank again everyone that continues to push me to strive for success in this sport. It's time for a new journey, and I'm excited to get it started.
Busch has stayed with 2311 Racing since the accident in a consulting and mentor role for current teammates Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. That role is something that he said he would still do after his full-time driving days are over. He has also stayed on as an ambassador for Monster Energy, which is also a team and personal sponsor. Busch was also named one of the 75 greatest NASCAR drivers back in May as part of the sport's 75th anniversary. He joined his younger brother Kyle in getting that honor also. He was recognized even more at Darlington Raceway later that month. He also told reporters that he was feeling better and still was hopeful that he would be medically cleared to return to competition. However, Busch realized that he wasn't 100% of his ability to still compete, but was hopeful of still returning in any form of racing. He was also asked on what the timing was to make the decision and more.
Yeah, it's not one moment that's led to this. It's a few different factors, and my body is just having a battle with father time. I've had arthritis ever since I can remember. My gout is flared up so much that I can barely walk on some days. Just pushing to get through physical therapy and to continue the workouts. I remember last summer, I was trying to not show that emotion, and I barely could even walk to the car at Dover because I had to have some shots pre-race just so that I could move my knee and move my feet. Those are those moments where things were starting to add up before things happened at Pocono. So, father time. I'm 45 years old. I'm very happy, complacent, and there's nothing that I look back on and regret about having this opportunity at the top level of NASCAR.
Busch's Hall of Fame career had its number of ups and downs, but his driving talent and determination to win were constants. He won 34 races and also had 161 top fives, 339 top tens, 28 poles, and also led 10,292 laps with an average finish of 16.1 and 776 starts. Here's Busch talking about his evolution from driving for Roush to where he finished and more.
Yeah, being able to win in all of NASCAR's divisions, the ladder system of a hobby stock, a late model, Southwest Tour cars, trucks, went straight to Cup, then came back and did a few races in Xfinity. And to have all the wins at all the different style tracks, I wanted to be a driver that fans could always count on for a good solid run each day, each weekend. Whether it's up in New England, those New Englanders embraced me after Ricky Craven and my finish at Darlington. The Midwesterners and the big push in Chicago and Kansas and Texas. I always just wanted to give them, somebody to root for that they could always count on, because I'm pretty much just like them. I'm a blue-collar worker that got an opportunity to do something really cool, and that's that racer in me that was able to win 19 different years. If I could have snuck that win in at Sonoma with James Finch's car at Phoenix Racing, the rear end was falling out of it, and I cannot believe we didn't win at Furniture Row. That's one thing I look back on. We had 9 outside poles, but we could not finish the race at the end. That would have been 21 straight years, 22 straight years of winning. And I think that would be more so than Richard Petty's record. So just missed out on a couple, but it's nothing that I really get stuck on too much. I was going for my own little stat because I was a baseball guy. I was trying to create this little thing called a 30-30 club, which is 30 wins and 30 poles. And I think there's only a few select drivers that fit in that category. And I came up just a little short. And maybe that was my improper motivation at Pocono, trying to go for pole. But you always got to have goals. You always got to push yourself. And I want to continue to do that with my team, sponsors, and everybody. And I thank you all as a family here, because you've helped me grow quite a bit since the blue-collar kid got out of Vegas.
Some of Busch's wins included the Daytona 500 in 2017 and the Coca-Cola 600, an all-star race 7 years earlier in 2010. He was also a 6-time winner at Bristol Motor Speedway. He got his first win there in 2002. Busch worked his way up the racing ladder after racing go-karts and then racing in Dwarf and Legends cars at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Bullring. He won the championship in NASCAR's former Southwest Tour in 1999 and joined Hall of Fame team owner Jack Roush in 2000 in the Craftsman Truck Series. After Busch finished second in the points in his only year in the trucks, He joined the Cup Series as a rookie in 2001. He started winning the next year and won at least one race for 10 straight years. 2004 was one of those 10 straight years that he won a race. It was also the year that he won a championship. That year was the first with a playoff system, then known as the Chase for the Nextel Cup. That format had 10 drivers compete for a championship, with 10 races to decide who would end up as champion. The drivers with the most total points would get the championship. Busch was the man who did it, as he won the first race of the Chase at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, then known as New Hampshire International Speedway. He led the points for most of the races after that. Busch recovered from a detached wheel to win that championship by 8 points over Jimmy Johnson and 16 over Johnson's teammate Jeff Gordon. Busch's winning ways didn't come without controversy though. It rubbed other drivers, media, NASCAR officials, and team owners the wrong way at times. There were a number of incidents that led to penalties, probations, and cutting ties with team owners that employed him, such as Roush and Roger Penske. In 2005, Busch was suspended for the final 2 races of that year after getting a DUI. In 2012, he was suspended for a race after threatening reporter Bob Pockrass. He was also suspended for 3 races in 2015 after a legal ruling on a criminal complaint alleging domestic violence after a split with former girlfriend Patricia Driscoll. Busch went winless in 2012 and 2013 after driving for underfunded teams, which were Phoenix Racing and Furniture Row Racing respectively. He then joined Stewart-Haas Racing in 2014 once they expanded. He won in each of his 5 seasons there and continued that with Chip Ganassi Racing by winning 1 race each year from 2019 through 2021. Busch then moved to 2311 Racing last year in 2022 as the team co-owned by Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan grew to 2 teams. He drove the 45 Toyota and got the team to victory lane at Kansas Speedway in their 13th race together. He drove a Jordan-sponsored car that day. Here's 2311 Racing President Steve Lauletta talking about expansion and more. It started when we decided to expand, and for me, it was a year earlier than I thought we would, said Lauletta. But when somebody like Kurt Busch becomes available, you jump at the chance. 8 races later, he lost control of his 45 Camry at Pocono during qualifying, and the car made heavy rear-end contact with the third turn's outside retaining wall. After being evaluated at the infield medical center, he was not cleared to race the next day. Ty Gibbs, who was then an Xfinity Series regular, took over at Pocono and then for the rest of the year. Before the playoffs began, Busch withdrew his playoff waiver since he was unable to return before that due to his injury. At Las Vegas last October, he made that announcement that he would step away from full-time racing, but was still hopeful to run some races this year had he been cleared to do so. I know I am not 100% in my ability to go out and race at the top level in the NASCAR Cup Series, Busch said then. These are the best of the best drivers, and lately, I haven't felt my best. My long-term health is priority number 1, and I don't feel committing at this point to compete for a championship next year. Is it my best interest or the best interest of the team? Reddick took over for Busch in the 45 car this season. Busch gave an update before the start of the 2023 season at Daytona in February that he still struggled with balance and eye movement and that physical therapy regularly drained him physically and emotionally. Busch was still around 2311 at the shop and at the track. Busch said in August that he would stay with the team for, quote, as long as they'll allow me. And Lauletta drew his comparisons with the role that former IndyCar driver Dario Franchitti held during his time at Chip Ganassi Racing. Here's what Lauletta had to say and more. I watched what he started doing and talked to Kurt about, could we do the same thing with you? And he was all for it, Lauletta said. And so now, since that time, he continues to come to the race shop a lot. He works with drivers on his own, has his direct text exchanges with them, works with the crew chiefs, and then works with our partners. So he's just a great teammate and brings a lot to what we're trying to build, which is a championship caliber organization. David Wilson, who is Toyota Racing Development's TRD president, noted that Busch has the rare distinction of winning with 4 manufacturers. They were Ford, Dodge, Chevrolet, and Toyota. He also noted the number of contributions that Busch had in his career. You talk to any of those organizations and they'll all say the same thing. He made us better, Wilson said. So again, I love the fact that Kurt is not going anywhere. He's still going to be around. We're still going to have a relationship with him as an OEM. He's going to continue to be an ambassador for Toyota, so we're not saying goodbye officially. We're going to support him through this next chapter. Busch said before this year that he had hoped to return to the cockpit one day. but was okay if it was the end of his career. In August, he had the chance to look back on his long career in NASCAR and his appreciation and more.
Thank you to everyone. I was texting Mike Helton earlier this week, and I said to him, I didn't really think I was going to get out of 2002 with as many arguments as we've had. And everyone that's in the room, thank you. Whether it's the sport, our manufacturer, our sponsors. Thank you, Mitch Covington. You stood behind me back in 2012 and said, we will support you. We will sponsor you, Kurt. And it's been an amazing journey with you guys. And to say that you've been with a sponsor for over a decade, we're getting close to for 12 years now, that's been an amazing friendship. Anytime I reference Monster Energy, it's like I work for the company and I'm trying to do all I can to help move product and to create that lifestyle and a can feel. And so thank you to the team. Thank you guys. There's plenty of stories and fun and wins and losses. But thank you to NASCAR. For giving me a fair shake at this. There's a bunch of cool trophies at the house, lots of memories, and I hope to give back in all the ways that I can moving forward.
Congratulations to Kurt Busch on an outstanding career, 34 wins, winning that championship in 2004. It sucks how it ended, though, especially he didn't get a chance to go out on his own terms with a proper retirement, to racing and all that. But what a great career, though, overall, though. And it tells you, it sucks how it happened because of the crash at Pocono. It looked ordinary. It's funny how he ended up doing it in the McDonald's car. Oh, he wants to take it the Grimace shake. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, though, it sucked how it ended up like that because it looked just like a regular crash that a lot of drivers, go away unhurt. But unfortunately for Busch, it wasn't like that. And as a result, he ended up getting a concussion. And it just shows you how the problems have been with the next-gen car, especially that first year as well. With a lot of drivers, with a lot of things not going right with the car. Even Alex Bowman missing some races as well with a concussion as well in that next-gen car because of that. And the crash looked ordinary. It looked like he would be fine. And it was just shocking to see that he wasn't and he had the concussion. And obviously concussions are a very serious thing, especially in sports nowadays. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. as well, also had concussions in his career, missed races in 2012 and in 2016 as well. A lot of them in that year. It was basically forced him to retire prematurely. And 2017 was Junior's final year in NASCAR because of the concussions. So concussions are a very serious thing, and they have a lot of long-term consequences as a result. But it's unfortunate that happened with Kurt like that. But congratulations still on a great career overall. Especially it's a Hall of Fame career. He's obviously won more races than drivers who are in the Hall of Fame that had full careers and finished, like Terry Labonte and Bobby Labonte, who have less wins, but obviously they're already in the Hall of Fame as well. And Kurt Busch, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. But he might lose some voters, though, because of his controversies over the years, especially his suspensions and all that stuff, his off-the-track controversies as well. Obviously, he didn't only have the incident with Bob Pockrass, he also had it with Jerry Pudge as well. And, obviously, those things affected his tenures as well. Obviously, the notable DUI in 2005, which ended his time prematurely with Roush Fenway Racing. Well, back then it was Roush Racing, now Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, RFK. But, yeah. Basically, he was a defending champ at that point. He basically had a hangover, literally, a championship hangover as a result. And Kenny Wallace filled in for the final races there. And obviously, the incident with his ex-wife as well. So that might sway some voters away from voting for him. But he's still, on the track, though, he's had a great career. He's obviously not the person that he was then, the hothead that he was. Obviously, he's known for also being feisty on the radio. So he's obviously had his attitude issues. Obviously, he's calmed down as well. His brother Kyle still had those problems. But Kyle is also calmed down as well. So both brothers are cool now. And obviously I'm a fan of both drivers nowadays as well. But still, it sucked for Kurt that ended like this. But still, what a great career. He's obviously, done a lot for the sport especially. And obviously he's had his on-the-track incidents as well. Obviously with several drivers. The most notable ones, obviously, Jimmy Spencer. And they had several incidents over the years. And the notable one was when Spencer got into him in Indianapolis in 2002 at the Brickyard 400, and Kurt got out of his car very frustrated, getting right, almost near him and all that. And obviously, that's not safe for drivers to get out on the track like that, especially nowadays. You won't be seeing that. But still, and then in the next year, 2003, Spencer punched Busch, and then Spencer got suspended as a result. But then eventually, Greg Biffle got them together, I think around 2005 or so, and then they ended up eating dinner and all that, and then now they ended up being good friends, and that beef was ended there. But obviously Busch has had other incidents with drivers as well, notably with Tony Stewart over the years as well. And then eventually he drove for Tony. So it was just kind of funny how that ended up like playing out like that. And Jimmy Johnson as well. So those were some of the notable ones as well. But yeah, definitely what a great driver as a result. He always got the best out of his equipment, especially when he drove for like teams like Furniture Row and, you know, also like Phoenix Racing, teams like that had no business of running up front at that point. But Kurt always got the most out of like the car, and, you know, it shows you like how great of a driver he was, you know, especially he almost had close call with those teams to be able to win, but he never was able to pull through with that. And then he got back to victory lane once he got to Stewart-Haas Racing as well. And, you know, he always got the most out of the team's equipment, even like winning with Chip Ganassi Racing, and, you know, had no business at times like running like that, like especially like they were a decent team, but they weren't like the elite. But he found a way to always get the most out of the equipment, and, you know, especially once he joined 2211 races as well. And he really won it. I thought he was going to end up winning a lot more races with them because he won so early in the year. And especially with that team, I would have thought he would have won more. But unfortunately, like, the injury happened, and, you know, he never like raced again, unfortunately. But still, though, what a great career, especially to be able to, like, you know, to like do all this and like, the accomplishments that he's had in his career. He's won everything he's had to win in the sport. Obviously, winning the Daytona 500 in 2017, especially giving Tony that Daytona 500 that he never was able to win as a driver himself. And Kurt, you know, he managed to like win like that race, especially on the final lap. And it tells you, like, had he not done that, he would have never won a Daytona 500. So it tells you, like, the last lap is always the most important one. And, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't lead the rest of the race. But as long as you lead the last one, that's what counts. And he did. And, you know, that was pretty cool that he won that race, especially something that his brother still hasn't yet done. And so he has that bragging right over him. And then, like, 2010 as well, winning the Coca-Cola 600. And, you know, and winning the All-Star race the week before that was pretty cool as well. That was when he was driving with Penske in the Miller Lite Dodge then. So that was awesome there as well. So he won everything he needed to win his sport, but it's gonna be sad to like see him like, you know, another driver from that Nextel Cup era like go, especially like after like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson and then Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mark Martin and, you know, Carl Edwards, Cliff Bowyer, Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, like, you know, like all those guys have retired like in the last couple of years, and it's just sad, like, you know, to see like all of them go. But it's a change of the guard, like especially, you know, since none of them are full-time anymore. And Kevin Harvick, who is also retiring, you know. But still, like, especially Kurt Busch. But he's still going to be around the sport, especially since, you know, he's been obviously doing stuff with 2211. And you know, I expect it to still be around. And obviously, he's provided some good insight in the booth as well with Fox. And, you know, doing races in the Xfinity Series, the Cup Series, and also the Chrysler Truck Series as well. So he's provided good insight. And I'm hopeful that eventually he'll join Fox, like, full-time as well. You know, like, basically if he's in the studio, like, for Race Hub or during some races, or maybe do some Chrysler Truck races as well. So that would be nice there too, especially. And obviously, you know, he's had some, you know, great moments there, you know, on the track, especially winning that championship in 2004. Had the tire went down on pit road instead of the track, like when he had that loose tire at Homestead Miami Speedway, he would not have won the championship because the caution came out when the tire went out on the track. And that was a big moment there, because had he not done that, he would have never won a championship, especially, you know, this was like the first year of the chase on Nextel Cup and all that as well, being part of that 10-driver chase then. And had he not done that, he wouldn't have won. And especially, like, people are, you know, had it been the full season championship, assuming they would have all ran the same way they did, you know, during the Winston Cup era, he would have never won a championship there either. But it goes to tell you, like, but we'll never know who the real champions would have been, because, you know, this is assuming they raced the way that they actually did. But obviously, had it been a full season championship all these years and not been a chase or a playoffs format, the drivers wouldn't have been racing the same way that they ended up doing. Probably some ways would have been different, and that might have affected would have won championships. But yeah, but it happened the way it did, and Kurt won the championship, and they can't take that away from him. So obviously, you know, that's a pretty big honor for him to be able to win that championship, being like the first driver to win the playoff or chase back then. And obviously, he had other great finishes as well, especially that 2003 Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 at Darlington Raceway. Obviously, that was a great finish there with him and Ricky Craven, especially. And, you know, one of the closest finishes at the time in the NASCAR history at that time, especially. And Craven just barely got him at the line and that race in the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400. So that was a you know, iconic race there as well. And, you know, Kurt never, you know, got to win at Darlington, but still, like, he was part of a great finish. And he ran a throwback to that paint scheme in 2018 as well at Darlington in the Southern 500 to that 2003 race, specifically that Rubbermaid paint scheme, which was a decent paint scheme as well. I like the Sharpie one better, the 2004 Sharpie paint scheme. That was a nice paint scheme there, especially that's the one he won the championship with. And obviously, you know, the Miller Lite paint scheme, the Dodge as well, was iconic, especially since that was what Rusty Wallace used to drive. But it was still a nice paint scheme when Kurt drove it as well. And, you know, that was cool paint schemes there, too. And obviously his Monster Energy paint scheme, you can't go wrong with those. Especially, like, the one he had at Chip Ganassi, that was so nice with the black and obviously the Monster, like, the logos and all. That was a really nice paint scheme. And you know, that was a big one as well, obviously, there, too. And obviously another big win for him was when he won at Las Vegas in 2020. A track that, you know, being his home track and all that, the fact that he never won at Las Vegas before, and his brother Kyle had already won. That was a big deal for Kurt as well, to be able to win that race, and he got to do it in 2020, you know, in the fall race there especially. Like, for him to finally win that race was a big deal. And, you know, that was pretty cool for him to be able to do that, especially all the times growing up around the track and the bull ring and all that. So that's pretty awesome, though, that he managed to, you know, win that race. And he also got the final win for, like, the race with Chip Ganassi, too, since they're no longer around, which he did at Atlanta Motor Speedway in 2021. And so that was pretty awesome there for him to, like, win that as well. But, yeah, congratulations to Kurt Busch on a great career. It sucked that he didn't go out on his own way, but at least he walked away from that crash, especially, you know. And, you know, but and hopefully, you know, he continues to recover, and maybe someday he'll get back on racing in some form of a car or anything. Maybe an SRX, who knows. But hopefully he'll get back out there and race again and, you know, have a proper, like, chance to, like, retire for, like, something else, you know, and all that. But still, great career overall. Future Hall of Famer, no doubt. Definitely first ballot. So it's going to be interesting, you know, for Kurt Busch. And, you know, good luck to Kurt and, you know, that. And, you know, hopefully, you know, I mean, he'll still be around the track and all that. So that'll be awesome there, too. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like. And if you are brand new, subscribe. And in honor of Kurt Busch's retirement, here's some commercials of him also. Enjoy those, and peace.
Well, I know one thing about marketing. The more logos you put in one place, the better.
True, but having something unique is better.
Check it out.
The Shell nitrogen-enriched cleaning system acts as a barrier to help protect critical engine parts against performance-robbing gunk.
All 3 grades of Shell gasoline are nitrogen enriched, too.
All 3 grades.
What?
He's good.
To the top, here comes Kurt Busch.
What does greatness taste like?
He'll race alongside.
Step up and order a Miller Lite.
We've got a tussle. We've got a fight. We've got a war.
We've got a rich golden color, a real beer aroma, and a true Pilsner taste.
A drag race to the checkered flag will be won by Kurt Busch in the Miller Lite Dodge.
There's light beer, and then there's triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness.
Oh, what a finish!
When you drive, even a 2-second distraction can be the difference between safety and serious injury. Imagine if I let that happen on the track. Hey, it doesn't look any smarter when you do it. 2 seconds is all it takes. Get the point? Drive like your life depends on it. Go to AAA.com/safety matters today to learn how to be a distraction-free driver.
Where'd you go? I just did a bump and run and took the lead.
I ran out of dip.
Dip? I'm racing neck and neck, and that's all you can think about is dip? You need to get your priorities straight.
Busch got under him and muscled Jimmy Spencer. You don't see that often.